Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, Mangotology. For today's video, I'm going to share with you guys what it was like as an ex-Scientologist, going undercover into the city of Clearwater, as well as visiting Scientology's spiritual mecca, the Flag Land Base. But before we get to that story, I just want to remind you guys to go down below and click that subscribe button, little bell icon, so you stay notified up to date on all things Scientology. I promise I'm going to be posting more videos on this channel because I have a lot to discuss with you guys about the Church of Scientology. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I do post daily videos on another channel. It's called Mango Tea. The link's going to be down in the description box below. So if you like hearing about YouTube drama, beauty gossip, and beauty influencers and all that sort of stuff, the link to Mango Tea is going to also be down in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get right on into today's video. So how did I, as an ex-Scientologist, somehow end up in Scientology's capital in Clearwater, Florida? So I'm going to rewind this a couple of weeks ago to when I was in Florida because I was attending a YouTube convention called Playlist Live. Now, as you guys know, I've been trying to focus on doing YouTube more full-time now, especially with my other channel called Mango Tea, and I thought it'd be a really fun opportunity to go to Florida and to attend Playlist Live because it's basically a weekend seminar, if you will, for about, like, say 2 or 3 days it was over the course of a weekend, and they have other big YouTube stars go as well, but they also have different panels on how to increase your videos and how to make production quality better and all that sort of stuff. So it was really nice, and I got to meet a lot of you guys there as well who have YouTube channels or who are fans of YouTube. So it's really cool to be able to talk to some of you guys about Scientology and about what I've gone through, as well as some of your experiences with the organization. So it was really cool to be able to go there and feel included in a group of other people, because for me, once I left Scientology, it was very hard for me to find purpose and to find meaning and to find other people that I connected with, because when I was in Scientology, it was the one place where I felt wanted and belonged and had purpose. It wasn't, it didn't turn out very good at the end, but while I was involved and when I was in that mindset of Scientology, I really did feel like I wasn't so alone, I guess you can say. Again, there's certain cult tactics such as love bombing and other ways that they do this as a manipulation tactic to get you to feel more included in Scientology. So that's for another video, but I wanted to talk to you guys how I ended up in Clearwater. So I have been doing pretty good, I would say, emotionally after leaving Scientology. I'm going to do another video about the emotional, mental state of Scientology as well as leaving Scientology. Yes, there has been some other questionable things that have happened to me as a result of Scientology, so I have a couple other videos that are coming this week or next week for you guys, so I have a lot more to catch you guys up on that I've been meaning to talk to you guys about. But I haven't really wanted to sit down on camera and do videos about Scientology. Not because I'm scared of them, not because I don't want to speak out, not because I've completely moved on from my activism to expose Scientology, but when you're finally feeling like you're okay for once. Another good thing I want to share too is I paid down all my debt that I owed Scientology on credit cards and loans and all that sort of stuff. So just in the last 2 weeks, I finished paying off all $50,000 to $60,000. So it was actually a very big accomplishment for me, piggybacking on that idea. I just didn't really feel like dredging up and talking about it, and there's just so many of these other ex-Scientologists. I'm not going to name anyone's name, it's no one's fault necessarily, but there's a very cult-like aspect with the ex-Scientologists where they all group together and they go to the same events and they all talk to each other and they go in Facebook groups and they just talk about Scientology all day and all night, and that's fine, but they're just talking to themselves, and we all know as ex-Scientologists what goes on inside Scientology. That's why I like coming on camera and talking to an audience outside of the group of ex-Scientologists that all correlate on social media and talk about stories and all this sort of stuff, and it just gets exhausting after a while. I know there's some ex-Scientologists here, they're going to be mad that I talked about that, and I'm perpetuating some idea like what Scientology says, that there's some ex-Scientology cult, like Marty Rathbun says, and there was a troika and all this sort of stuff. But when you guys are involved in that world of the ex-Scientologists, there's the popular group of ex-Scientologists, the other conspiracy theory type of ex-Scientologists, the ones that are very political and driven towards that sort of stuff. And they only write on your post or talk to you if you're talking about Scientology. If I was just to post right now oh hey, I just had a great day, you don't hear from the ex-Scientologist. If I'm like, I'm going to post a video about Scientology, oh my god, I'm getting phone calls, and everyone, oh my god, what are you going to say in today's video, and that sort of stuff. So it's just like so exhausting dealing with the ex-Scientologists sometimes. No offense, there are some really great ones who have talked to me and have helped me out when I was leaving Scientology, but it's just tiring to always be consumed in something. Like, people have told me before online, like, you're young, like, you have to move on. And that doesn't mean I'm moving on from my activism work. That doesn't mean I'm shutting my channel down. Of course, there's still moments I have stuff I want to talk about and expose, and it is a big purpose and mission of mine to be able to revoke Scientology's tax exemption and to really educate you guys on what happens. I know I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here. It's just because I haven't made a video for you guys in a while, and I really have to catch you up on my thoughts and what I feel about Scientology and ex-Scientologists and all this stuff. So after I pay down all my debt and after I've been focusing on my other channel, doing other sort of stuff, I'm just like, you know what, I feel okay for once. Like, I don't want to keep drudging up painful experiences from years ago, and it's just like, it just really weighs on you. So I hope you guys understand that's why I have taken a little bit of break from the ex-Scientology work. I can't just emotionally do it every single day. So I know that there are others, there's other channels, other people that are so aggressive on social media, and they talk and they fight Scientology every single day, and good for them. I just feel like, you know, you also have to breathe the fresh air and see the sunshine and say, you know what, they're a criminal cult. We know that, but on the other hand, I have to protect myself. So that's what I'm doing. That's my message to other ex-Scientologists. You need to have a little bit of you time as well, because this sort of stuff is emotionally draining. But a couple of weeks ago, like, finishing my story, I know I ramble, guys, I'm sorry. This is kind of therapeutic for me. It's my video vlog, if you will, as well. So I do sometimes feel connected to you guys, even though I'm talking to my camera, and I hear from you guys when you email me and write to me in the comments. So I just feel like you guys I owe it to you guys to know, like, how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, and what I'm going through with Scientology. Even to this day, there's stuff going on, but I'm like, you know what? I was telling Jeff, my husband, I'm like, if I'm going to be in Clearwater, I might as well go to their spiritual mecca, if you will, and see Clearwater, because I never actually went to Clearwater when I was a Scientologist. I plan to go. I talked about this in my first video I ever came up with on my channel, that I bought a package to be able to go to Flag, to do these Flag-only rundowns, which can only be delivered in Florida, and registrars in LA wire that money off of my account in Florida to give it to whatever it was, Congress lectures, whatever it was in LA. They took my money off account in Flag, so I never actually got to go, even though right before I met Jeff, I was supposed to be getting on a plane to go to Florida a couple weeks later to possibly join the Sea Org at the Superpower building, because I was talking to recruiters and all this stuff. I was going to be doing some of my bridge over at Flag, and then I was going to join the Sea Org, move my whole life there and everything, so I was very dedicated. I was on posters at this time, so it was a very big thing I was planning. So luckily that didn't happen, but I'm like, I'm really curious to see what it's like inside Clearwater, Florida, what it's like as an ex-Scientologist being there. Will they recognize me? Because I know in LA, once I drive down the street, they're taking pictures and calling up. Even if I'm just one of many cars, they recognize me in LA, let's just say it like that. After my protesting and going to their different events and stuff here, I'm very well known in LA against the Scientology crew, if you will. So I had my rental car and I thought, you know what, it's my last day after this YouTube convention. Let me go down to Clearwater, Florida and see what is the scene like in Clearwater, Florida. What's it like amongst the Clearwater Scientologists? What is going to happen to me? I was just really curious to see what it was like going to Flag. So I did the drive from Orlando, drove down to Clearwater, and as I start approaching, I see the huge Flag building. To me, it was just very creepy, very surreal. It was just very odd to me to be at Flag and in Scientology's territory. And you may be wondering, like, if you have such bad post-traumatic stress disorder like I have and stuff, why would you put yourself through that? Why would you go there? And I was initially planning to vlog all of it. I was going to get footage for my channel, but I can't be living in fear of these guys on the flip side. Like, I can't be hiding in my room. Like, I can't go around a Scientology building. I live in LA. I live near 3 orgs. I can walk to the org right now. I can take you guys and walk down the street and end up at one of 3 Scientology orgs. Like, that's how close I live to them. So I'm around Scientology basically every single day just because of how in the proximity I am to their organizations. But it was just different being in Scientology's capital, essentially. And just seeing the Flag building and everything, it really brought me back in a very scary way to my experiences inside Scientology. And I almost thought about, like, not going in not like I was going into the building, but not going to that area of Clearwater, maybe going by the beach or something a little bit more safe so I can kind of chill out. I didn't know why I was doing it or what I wanted to get emotionally from being there, but I just thought it was important to go there because I wanted to see if I could talk to another Scientologist to see what really goes on inside. So that's why I debated bringing my camera or not, and I decided not to, because if I was carrying my camera around filming, that would be bad for the situation, because then they would say, oh, you know, he's an SP, and they're not going to tell me anything if I try to talk to another Scientologist or if I try to go to a Scientology-owned business. I wanted to go more incognito because I really didn't want them following me. I could have protested, I could have done all of that. It would have been great. You guys would have loved that video, I'm sure, but I thought, you know what, it's better if I go undercover, because I can't do that in LA in the same way as I could in Clearwater, because they're not expecting me, they don't know I'm there. So I was kind of walking around the flag building, I was taking some cell phone pictures and stuff like that, but I wanted to see how many Scientologists in the area were there. Was it hustling and bustling? Were there people at this new, you know, $500 billion, not that much money, but you know what I mean, like this huge new mega church delivering superpowers? Think about that, guys. If Scientology or anyone could promise you that you could walk through walls, you could have telepathic powers and stuff, why aren't Scientologists lined around the block to get into this building if they really could deliver what they say that they're able to deliver? So I was walking around just trying to see, like, how many other Scientologists do I spot going into these buildings? Flag building, Superpower building, there's the Fort Harrison Hotel, there's the Sandcastle, there's Oak Cove. They have all these Scientology businesses, hotels, all that sort of stuff. So I was just stationed in the right area to get a good gauge. And in Scientology's version of the story, it could be like, well, he was sitting there during the lunch hour while everyone was on course. They're not going to be walking outside. Well, I spent the whole day there. So unless Scientologists don't leave the building and they sleep in there day and night and that's it, that's one thing. But I would say that I saw, to be generous to Scientology, maybe 5 public at Flag. Which, I mean, this is their capital, guys. This is not like Oregon, Kansas City or something. This is their spiritual mecca where you get the highest level of Scientology services. They now deliver the whole bridge, obviously, but this is where the spiritual mecca is. This is where you go to receive the highest Scientology services, to be in a Scientology environment with one of the highest congregation of Scientologists in the world. So I was really expecting to see more than 4 or 5 people. And I could recognize them, obviously, coming in and out of the building, or wearing the Scientology superpower uniform that they wear, or just going in and out of the hotel, or any of that sort of stuff. So there's very, very little activity going on. Now, I don't know if I didn't see this correctly or not, but it looked like you can walk right into the superpower building. There was no security guards posted right at the front doors. I thought there'd be security all lined up at the doors, because this is their, you know, several hundreds of millions of dollars buildings doing these crazy things where you're able to develop your superpowers. So I thought that they wouldn't let anyone near the front door, but it looked like people were just walking in the door, and there were maybe someone on the inside. Maybe they were scanning a badge at the door. From what I could see from 5-10 feet away, or however far away I was, because I was getting closer and approaching, thinking like, am I going to go inside? I thought, if anything, even though I am recognizable now, you know, I'm all over YouTube talking about Scientology, but I could have just played an innocent Clearwater beach bum. I didn't look like one, I was dressed nice, but, you know, a beach bum coming in like, oh, I want to take a tour, I want to learn more about Scientology. Can you tell me more about this building? Wow, it's so beautiful, I'm looking for my faith. What are they going to do? Be like, oh, we're trespassing, you get off our property, we're going to put you in handcuffs. Like, what are they going to do? Obviously, I can't get away with that in Los Angeles or other cities where I was a known parishioner. I can't get away with doing that, but in Clearwater, maybe I could at least walk inside, see how many people are in the building, walk around, maybe, you know, stumble upon a course room and see how many people are in the course room. You know, I was really curious to see what it would be like undercover, like maybe bringing my camera as like a spy sort of thing, but I didn't want to press my luck because I was there for the day. I'm in their territory, guys. I'm alone. I'm not with anyone. I don't want them to do any funny business with me, so I decided that it would be better not going onto their turf, even though I was already in Clearwater. And let me just see if I could talk to a Scientologist, right? So this is my second mission. This is what I'm thinking, like, as I'm figuring out what I'm going to do while I'm here. I walked around the flag building like 5 times trying to see and scope out the whole building, the whole space. Then I walked down by like all their friend groups, so like Way to Happiness, Foundation for a Drug-Free World, Criminon, World Institute of Scientology Enterprises. Like they have all their front groups lined up like right next to each other, all on the same street. So I was kind of going, I'm like, maybe I can go inside one of those maybe, but then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to stumble on that sort of thing. If I'm going to go into the building, I'm going in a superpower. I'm not going inside the Way to Happiness and then they find out who I am there, because like you guys have seen when I went undercover in the past, they have facial recognition. They're able to figure out who their SPs are within like 2 minutes. So I'm like, if I'm going to get kicked out, I'm going to get kicked out of the flag building, not outside of Criminon or something. So my mission now was, let me try to talk to Sea Org and staff. So I'm gonna walk down the street, and every time, because there were Sea Org people, like they'd have buses come around and there's staff and they walk from building to building to building, and there's staff members dressed up. There's no public, even though it's Clearwater, Florida, guys, on like say a Friday or something. This wasn't like it was a Monday morning or something, or it was a Saturday. I don't remember the day it was, but it was a day where you would expect to see a lot of Scientologists in Scientology in Clearwater. So I start trying to talk to every single Sea Org person I saw. So I'm walking down the street, one walks by me and be like, hi, how are you? Just being friendly, thinking maybe they'll think I'm a citizen of Clearwater. They occupy Clearwater. We know all the local businesses that aren't Scientology hate Scientologists. So I was really curious, because I did distinguish, and I'll tell you guys what the difference between LA Scientologists and Clearwater Scientologists are. There's a big difference between the two of them. But since Scientology did take over Clearwater, I think that Clearwater is, they're funded in a lot of ways by Scientology, but they just hate the Scientologists. They're like robot zombies walking down the street, and it's true. And they're in the same city as us WOGs or as everyday people that are in Clearwater. Why not just be friendly to the other people that you occupy the city with or the street? I know maybe they think it's weird, like saying, oh, hi, to someone on the sidewalk, but they may think I'm a Scientologist too, because I'm right at the flag building. I'm right here. If I look at you and smile and say hi, these people are supposed to be the pioneers of communication. These guys have drills where you can communicate with anyone on any subject. You're supposed to be the most uptone, most theta person on the planet, right? Why can't they just say, hi, how are you? Grant me some beingness in Scientology's term, right? So I'm going and looking at these Sea Org people, and I look at them, and they look away like this. I'm like, why are you so afraid of me? Like I wasn't protesting. I'm sure not any of them recognize me. I don't think they're showing my YouTube videos to Sea Org, who have no phone, no internet, no television, that live and work there 24/7. I don't think that they had any clue who I was. No one approached me. If Scientology thought I was even doing anything, I'd be getting followed, cameras in my face. They'd send out OSA PR people after me. This isn't like they knew who I was. This was even before I approached the building too. I was doing this game to see if Scientologists would talk to me. So I'm telling you guys, out of maybe 100 people I said hi to, I'm telling you, I'd walk by and go, hi sir, hi, how are you? Excuse me ma'am, hi, just wanted to say have a great day, just being nice to people. And they shift down. I wasn't having protest signs. I was not being confrontational. I was being like a normal person on the sidewalk by the flag building going, hi, how are you? So I don't know what the big deal was, but I'm telling you guys, like panic talking to an outside person. Fear, panic was raging through them to see someone saying, hi, how are you? It wasn't scary. You're walking and you see someone, you look at them, you make eye contact. Hi, ma'am, how are you? Why is it so hard to say hi? I'm telling you, 2 people said hi. Like, I think it was 2 men. None of the women said hi to me. I think it was 2 guys. And they'd be like, hello, in the creepy Scientology TR sort of way. But none of them talk to everyday people. They're walking around, shuffling amongst these buildings. And if they wanted to make a good impression amongst other people, like, why do we have such a bad reputation? Why do people hate us? Maybe be friendly to people in the same city as you, or on the sidewalk, say hi, give a good impression, and maybe people would go in the doors. No one would now, because we all know what happens inside Scientology, but you have to be able to say, hi, how are you? Not a lot of people who have a brain nowadays would go inside Scientology, because we all know what goes on inside. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Most people in the world know about Scientology nowadays, but if they wanted to give this impression to try to recruit more people or whatever, try to be nice to your neighbors and to other people who are in the area, and maybe you won't get seen as a space alien, creepy, weird cult. So after that mission, I decided to go to a Scientology-owned business because I thought, I'm not going to be able to talk to other Scientologists on the sidewalk. It's weird, whatever. But if I'm in their building, for example, like if I'm going to a Scientology vitamin store, a chiropractor's office, or something, then I can talk to the owner, whoever's behind the front door, whatever it is. I can talk to them and I could say, hey, like, did you go to the event last week, or what did you think about this, or oh, the course room was like so empty lately, I just wonder why there's no public coming from other orgs to Clearwater, like whatever it is. Something not to be so critical, but to get them to open up to me and say, yeah, I know, it's crazy, or oh yeah, it's so hustling and bustling. I just wanted them to be honest with me, and I didn't know exactly what I was going to say at that point, but I wanted to try to make some sort of rapport with them to actually find out about Scientology from a Scientologist. So I try to go to this chiropractor's office, and I walk in the door, and they're like, oh, do you have an appointment? I'm like, no, I thought maybe I could get an adjustment and just walk in. And I looked online, this chiropractor was like OT8, like super highly trained, whatever. It was just some like girl at the front desk, as long as she's like, oh, SP, we're not going to give him any business. But she was like, the appointment takes an hour. Can we schedule you tomorrow? And we have to do an examination. There's probably some insurance billing fraud scam thing that they were trying to do. What type of insurance do you have? So I'm like, of course, Scientologists trying to scam one way or another. So I left that office, but I went to the Scientology like general store, I guess you can call it. So I went in, and there's other like Sea Org and stuff in there. I'm like, perfect. This is where I need to be to maybe get some information or kind of like scope it out. And I went to buy some CalMag, which is calcium magnesium, which is like a drink you drink in Scientology. Because I thought, if I buy CalMag here, or if I talk to her about the CalMag, it seems like something that's a Scientology type product. Like no one's going to come in off the street like, oh, what type of CalMag do you recommend? So I thought it'd be a good way to kind of make her think I'm a Scientologist, because why else would I be buying it? So the woman there was at the cash register, and she ended up being the owner. And again, OT, blah, blah, blah. She was there like, like that, right? And I'm thinking, like, this woman's supposed to be OT. Like, why is she yawning? Like, does she have a misunderstood word? Like, what's going on? Is there too steep a gradient, misunderstood word? Like, what is it, a barrier to study? You know what I mean? I'm just thinking, like, in Scientology terms, if you're yawning, there's some sort of issue there, right? You're supposed to be this high-toned person that's like, hi, welcome to here. I'm a Scientologist. I'm happy-go-lucky. I'm up the bridge to total freedom. I'm cause over matter, energy, space, and time. All this matter, energy, space, and time, right? You're cause over life. But you look like tired, whatever. The other Sea Org, again, they're just like this, and it's just like they must be getting so abused in those walls, or overworked, or something is going on. You can see it in their face. I mean, we know what's going on, but you know what I mean? Like, something is really happening in their world where Scientology is supposed to be providing this level of freedom to go up this bridge where you're getting more and more aware of your spiritual and your true self. So if that's true, and you're able to get to these higher levels of existence, why are the people who are pioneers of that can't communicate? They're miserable, they're tired. So I'm talking to her about the CalMag. She's like, well, I recommend this one. Heck, I drink it every single night. And I'm like, yeah, I have to go back on course. I'm not from here, I'm from LA. Just trying to talk to her to make her think like, oh, I'm on services at Flag. More or less, she was like, $8.95 or however much it was. And I'm like, of course, Scientologists is ready to take your money, not even making any talk like, oh wow, like I'm on this course or that course. So she again was like a total flop in this whole mission. I'm sorry guys, so far the story isn't that great, but it's just a total flop. The difference so far, before I get into the people who talk to me about Scientology, but so far what I'm gathering is that the LA Scientologists are all about status, they're about power, they're about like the circle of other Scientology actors, like who can get into that circle, like, oh, I'm going to be friends with this Scientology celebrity, this one, Kirstie Alley, John Travolta, we're going to go to the gala, I'm auditioning for this TV show. It's all about the power, the money, the wealth, the status, the narcissism, the godlike qualities of what you attain in Scientology, a lot of money-making schemes. I'm sure that's the same in Clearwater, but there's a lot of wannabe Hollywood types in the LA orgs. Clearwater is more chill in the sense that it's not that. It's more or less people who are long-time Scientologists of like 30, 40 years, whatever, maybe second-generation Scientologists, the die-hard ones, people who live like a normal life in a way, probably not so much normal because you're in Scientology, but a normal life, like you may have a small business, a small store that's operated and run by Scientology, more or less, because you're right in their neighborhood, so I'm sure they come by and count the cash for you, if you will, and you're running your business according to Scientology management principles, but I feel like you have your home there, you go on services, so you have your business that's run and have other Scientology co-workers, whatever, you go on services at Flag maybe, or one of the other missions or orgs or whatever in the nearby area. Your friends are Scientologists, whatever, and you just live in this like Scientology bubble in Clearwater. It wasn't as spectacular as I thought it was going to be in terms of like, I thought it was going to be flooded, Scientologists everywhere and going to store and at the restaurant. I just thought they were going to be everywhere. I thought it was going to be so much easier to do a story, if you will, on Clearwater, but it was just like a desert, barren town where there's a lot of staff. I will say that there was a lot of staff walking around that I tried to talk to, but I'm telling you guys, there's probably like 400 staff for every like one Scientologist. It was just weird and creepy, and at least for me, like I know I made a video before about say going to the Buddhism church and some other places. Even though it may not be my faith, you still can feel a level of spirituality, like when you're on their property or their grounds, or peace or serenity, or you like respect it as like a holy place. But when I was around Flag and Clearwater, and a lot of people say this too, you just get like a weird vibe, you know, like inside or even outside the building, you just get this creepy, like the vibe, the mojo, the energy is just weird. It's not a place where you feel like this is like I'm at the Vatican. I'm here where the Pope is. It's just like you feel like, ooh, like it's just odd and creepy, and they just make you feel so uncomfortable. Anyway, so then I went to sit in this park. So I said, well, at the minimum, what I can do is try to survey other people and talk to them. I wasn't filming again, just talking to them to see maybe I can survey these people and see what they think about Scientology. And I was gonna go after more touristy types, but maybe even people on their lunch break. I didn't necessarily, again, have a plan. I just drove to Clearwater and I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. I was gonna go into the Public Information Center. Then I'm like, why would I do that if I could just go into Flag? Because I know that they're going to say at Flag, go to the Public Information Center, because they don't let you do a tour of Flag. It's off limits. It's only for their higher level Scientologists. I want to start there and then try to go into the building, and they already knew who I was, and I would have had to play dumb and go into Flag if I was really trying to be ballsy, but again, I didn't go into the Information Center. I decided it'd be best to try to keep a low profile there and start just talking to the other people that are in the area. So sitting in this park, it was 1,000,000 degrees, and I'm just looking around thinking like, who may be approachable, like who should I ask or try to talk to about Scientology or make conversation with or sit near or try to get in the shade. I'm like, that's a good thing. Like if I try to sit near, they have like these little like tent, like this right here in the backyard. They have this, like there in the park, like a smaller version that like tables, so like you can sit and have your lunch or whatever. It's like that. So I saw these two girls and they were sitting there, and it looked like there was another seat. Like if I sat with them to make it like, oh, like can I sit here and get some shade or whatever? That obviously it's Florida, it's 1,000,000 degrees. They may let me sit there. They looked friendly enough. So I thought, okay, then I'm gonna try to somehow segue into Scientology about all of this. So I get up and I start walking towards these girls. And again, I'm just like, excuse me, like, or is anyone sitting here? Would you mind if I have a seat? They were like, sure, great. I'm like, oh, what's your name? So I was introducing myself to them because I'm like, good, this is at least a way to start the conversation with them. So I told them I was on vacation. Do they live here? So we started chatting a little bit. I'm like, hey, like, can I ask you guys a question? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, are you Scientologists? It's okay if you are, but I'm just curious because there's Scientology everywhere. I don't know anything about it. Meanwhile, I'm like their former poster boy, and I was in movies, YouTube, like talking to the press every single day, right? So anyways, I'm like, I have no idea, like just wondering, like there's Scientology buildings all over the place, like what is it? Do you guys know? Like I know it's like Tom Cruise, like whatever, they're like ha 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 sort of thing, and I was still just like rambling and trying to get them to feel like comfortable to talk to me about Scientology. Basically, they're like, I know, they're so creepy, they're like robots, like walking down the street, they're always like going somewhere, like in and out all these different doors. And oh, that reminds me of another part of the story when I was saying hi to someone, so I'm all over the place today, guys. This woman comes out the door, running, like out the door, and I was right there, and I'm like, this, whatever, and and I'm like, excuse you, like, hi, like, she wasn't like sorry or anything, it's just like, oh my goodness, like, she walked right into me and she didn't even say anything. So again, these Scientologists are so awkward and so out of touch with the world and don't even have common courtesy. Like, how are they learning spiritual powers is beyond me. So anyway, she's like, they're always like going in and out of like buildings and stuff. They're so secretive. They're weird. Like, we thought about maybe going in to do a tour, but we're too scared. Are they going to kidnap us? So I'm telling you guys, these are people who, again, are just like public citizens in Clearwater who may live there, may be in their vicinity, and these people think that they're weird, they're creepy, kidnap. Like, this is what the public thinks, guys. This isn't good for your image, Scientology. This is in your own capital. People are willing to say, not like, oh, yeah, I know Scientologists. They're nice people or something like that. I wasn't getting that. I was getting, oh, they're creepy, they're weird, they're whatever. And basically then I decided to tell them I got this YouTube channel, and I actually am in Scientology. Just want you guys to give me an honest, like, opinion and stuff like that about them. They're like, yeah, like, we'd love to check it out. Like, I can't believe what happened to you. And they did seem very concerned from the different things I was telling them that happens like literally a block down the street. So I told them, like, you know, I'm kind of talking to a couple other people, like, I'm just trying to really survey and see, what do people think about Scientology? What's the public perception? Like, I should do a whole video going to Hollywood Boulevard and seeing what do people say about Scientology and what is the public opinion. Because if you guys want me to do that type of video, let me know in the comment section. I think it might be a cool video to really see, like, what do people think? So that's basically what I was doing, but just not on camera. So then, after a little while of talking to those girls, I decided to get up and go to another area and try to see if anyone will give me any form of information about Scientology, or again, trying to get this public image, right? So then I spot this table of 2 guys and 1 girl, and it looked like they were maybe like on their lunch break or something, because the girl was eating lunch, or what I appeared to be was lunch, and another guy had like a briefcase, another one had like a laptop or a tablet thing that he was like typing on or something. I'm like, okay, they look like they're busy, but maybe they're locals or somebody could give me some information, so let me see if I can get them to talk to me. So I went and I sat at the table next to them, and I was doing, again, my creepy, like, smiling, like, okay, like, why is this kid, like, smiling at me sort of thing. But I decided to tell them that I was visiting, I was on vacation from LA. Do they have any recommendations, any restaurants or anything that I should check out when I'm, you know, here visiting in the area? So they're really nice, and they pointed out a couple different, like, local places and stuff like that. And then I had, like, I have to segue Scientology into this some way. I'm like, oh, it's not owned by Scientology, is it? And they're like, no, don't worry, it's not Scientology or anything like that. I'm like, what is this, like, Scientology that's, like, everywhere? I'm like, I'm walking all around, there's all these people in, like, these uniforms and stuff, and I heard of, like, Ron Hubbard, and just kind of playing dumb, and, like, there's Tom Cruise, like, all this sort of stuff. Like, is any of it true? Like, are you guys Scientologists? Like, just playing as dumb as I could play about it. Like, should I go in? No, don't go inside or anything like that. But they're like, yeah, like, there's a whole television show that talks about all the different stuff that goes on inside Scientology. You should, like, go online. You can look up Scientology and stuff like that. You don't want to go in. You want them to brainwash you or anything like that. And then this other guy's like, yeah, like, we had this, like, crazy aunt or something that was a Scientologist for a long time. And it's like, all these different stories. Like, everyone had a story, but it was always like, oh, like, back up, don't go in that building, you know, stay away. And people are warning you, even though their doors are wide open, saying open house, all are welcome. You know, people are like, no, don't go in. No matter how much of a friendly perception Scientology may try to have by saying open house, all are welcome, people are still like, no, don't go in, no. Like, they're a cult, be careful. And that's what they said. Cult. They're saying beware, kidnapping, danger, abuse, like, all this sort of stuff. And I just couldn't believe that people sitting a half a block away have such a negative impression of this organization. So again, I get up and thank them, and I start walking around and seeing if there's anyone else to talk to, and doing this while I'm in Clearwater. I went to lunch at a non-Scientology owned business, I think it was. They had a good veggie burger, but Clear Sky, I think it was. Maybe they're Scientologists, maybe they're not, I don't know. But it was just a different experience than I was expecting. I didn't end up going into the buildings. I didn't actually talk to, like, a Scientologist, like, sitting here. So I was hoping that someone would be like, oh, I'm a Scientologist. And I could be like, good, maybe I could get some information. But no one was a Scientologist that I talked to in Clearwater, which I thought, like, when you're down the street, what's the odds I haven't run into one person willing to identify themselves as a Scientologist? And I know they weren't, because they were saying negative things. You know, Scientology gave me this impression that Clearwater was something completely different than it actually was. And I kind of regret not going inside one of the buildings, because I thought that would really tell the story. But I think that for the purpose of going there, I really got to see Clearwater for what it really was without having to go inside a building. I really got to see the staff, I got to see the public, I got to see other people, I went to their businesses, I went to 2 Scientology-owned businesses, and I really got an impression of what Scientology is. They're very scared of the outside world. It's us against them mentality still. They may be willing to run right into me, not say excuse me, look at me in the eye. They couldn't say hi, they couldn't communicate. There's no one on these courses. There's 1 or 2 guys, and they look so old and downtrodden. And I don't care if someone's old. I'm not old shaming, but I'm telling you guys, there were like these people that had these super powered jackets on, were like this. Old guys that were like white, balding, just kind of like this. This is the look on their face, right? You're on superpower. Act like a superhuman. But no, they're like, in that face, just like the tone level of that person is just in apathy, in grief, in depression. That's really low down there. They said I was 1-1, being a criminal essentially for being gay, right? 1-1 covert hostile. But here I am like this, which I think is enthusiasm, or like somewhere like high up on the tone scale if we're giving Scientology, right? High up on the tone scale. These guys are like this. And they're OT, high level beings that should be high up on the tone scale, but again, even me even talking about that is like, why am I bringing logic to something that's illogical? So anyways, guys, that's just what I want to tell you the story about Clearwater. I don't know, I'm sure it was just a long ramble for 45 minutes or however long I've been talking to myself here for. I guess the whole point is like they're not growing, they're not expanding, the TV network is doing nothing for them. That personal image that everyone is telling me, strangers I meet, even when I'm in LA and I talk to people about Scientology, the impression is negative. Like there's no way they can bounce back from this negative PR unless they completely change their name. It's just they have such a bad reputation and no one wants to associate with them. People think you're weird, crazy, that I was even involved with Scientology for the time I was. It was just not doing good. Like, prove me wrong, Scientology. I would have loved to go there and see 20 million Scientologists on the street and people hustling and bustling and making it seem like Scientology was this big growing thing, happy people, and, you know, maybe it changed since I've been in Scientology, right? But no, the people look worse. The people look miserable, sad. They're being taken for their money and their time, and they're being tricked and deceived, and I just feel so bad for them. And, you know, even on the earlier part of this video I said, you know, I want to steer away a little bit from Scientology, and that's what I've done, and I don't want to keep talking about it. You know, there are parts of Scientology that I haven't even talked about yet. I still want to release my book. I still have different things I'm working on, guys. I have a documentary I wanted to do, like so many different things. But, you know, I'm going to do it step by step just to protect myself and my own feelings. It is hard to deal with Scientology. Spying on you, dirty tricks, and all that sort of stuff. There's more videos to come, guys. There's more sad stuff I haven't talked about yet, but I just want to give you a little bit of an insight on my trip in Clearwater. I've been trying to sit down and do this video for you, so I found the time. I wanted to make this and tell you guys what Clearwater was like as an ex-Scientologist infiltrating, if you will, into their headquarters. But anyways, I'll stop rambling. If you guys want to see more videos of me exposing Scientology, go down below and click that subscribe button, the little bell icon. That's going to notify you when I release new videos, so you stay up to date on all the latest happenings with Scientology. Leave me a comment, let me know your thoughts down below. Also, go head on over to my other channel, Mango Tea, link down below if you're interested in hearing about YouTube drama outside of Scientology. It'd mean a lot if you guys come from this channel. Even if you subscribe and don't watch drama videos, subscribe over there. Support me in my outside endeavors outside of Scientology, so I don't have to keep talking about them. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I promise I'll be back soon. Thanks so much for watching.